AJ. It's something to do Saturday, and I'm getting ready for summertime. I know it's a little bit early, but I want you to start thinking about it because summertime means Storybook Park. If you didn't get to be a part of it last year, oh my gosh, now's your chance, because Memorial Day weekend, it opens up with lots of fabulous book covers. But what's more important is that you can be a part of it. Last year, we covered our lawn with all kinds of cool transformed pallets into storybook covers, and we're doing it again this year, and you can actually be a part of it. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to transform some pallets into storybook covers. I'm going to give you some ideas, and then I want you to be part of the fun this year. We had tons of people come out and participate last year. They walked through, they got to enjoy it, but more importantly, we had lots of patrons that created storybook covers like this one. Now this one's looking a little rough. It did spend all winter outside, but I'm going to give you some really cool ideas as to how you can take a pallet and turn it into a storybook cover. And what's exciting is this year our theme for summer reading is Tales and Tales. Tales and Tales. So it could be a story, it could be an animal tale, all kinds of cool ideas, right? Are you ready to create? I hope so. I also want to remind you that the library does have pallets, all kinds of different pallets here for you. You can pick one up anytime during our regular business hours. We can even help you load it into your car and get you started there. I'm going to give you a couple different ideas of what some folks did last year, show you some really cool stuff so that you can get inspired to create. But I'm really excited about this year's project. I think it's going to be better than last year's, so I want everybody out there to think about making a book cover, and then of course make sure you come and check it out. So come on, let's grab a palette and get started. One of the first things we're going to do is figure out how to cover the palette. Again, depending on what book you're going to do, what supplies you're going to use, how creative you're going to get, depends on what you do with your palette. You don't have to cover it. Be creative. Think about it. I've got an idea. I got lots of ideas. We'll see how many of them actually happen. Or I may do another one where I don't cover it. We'll see how it works. Again, keep in mind when you're covering your palette, we really need it to be weather resistant. Keith, our maintenance guy, is a wonderful human being. Thank you, Keith, for everything you do. But he really doesn't like me a whole lot when he has to pick up all my junk that's blown all over the yard. So keep that in mind. When you're covering your palette, you want something that's going to be weather resistant. I have a fairly heavy duty shower curtain liner that I'm going to try and use, and just I think I'm going to paint on it. Still haven't worked out the whole idea of it yet. Last year we had some folks that used vinyl tablecloths. Don't buy the cheap ones, even though I'm cheap. Buy a cheap one if you can find it on clearance. Don't use the plastic ones that are disposable from like the Dollar Tree or Walmart. Once they're out in the sun for a little bit, they tend to dry up and get really brittle and break, so they don't hold up well. But the heavier vinyl tablecloths, they run about $2 or $3. And occasionally you can find it by the yard at Joann's or Walmart, and it'll be on clearance, which does make it cheap, and you know I like that. You can use that as a backdrop. Again, if you have some scrap wood, you can slap it right on there, and maybe you'll be creative enough that you won't need to cover your palette. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do. But just keep in mind, whatever you put on here needs to be weather resistant. So I'm going to put my shower curtain on here, and basically I'm just going to lay this over top, and I'm going to take my handy dandy staple gun and go ahead and just staple it on there. I am going to wrap it around. I'm going to want to cover both the ends because again we're going to set them up in kind of an A-frame, and we'll cover the center for you, and that, but you might want to cover the ends just a little bit. Entirely up to you. Remember, you don't have to do the back because we will be putting it in that A-frame so that it looks like a book standing up. So I'm going to go ahead and cover my palette and think about, you know, how I'm going to make this all work. stapled it on the back as well. I can't turn this around so that you can see it. But I will go ahead and staple the rest of this section. Just a little more here so that's nice and tight, because we don't want any loose edges, things that the wind can catch, because that'll make it rip. So make sure that you get all your loose edges stapled down or duct taped down, however you want it to work. Maybe both would be good. And also I have some excess back here that I'm going to trim off, so again I don't have any excess pieces that are flapping in the wind that can catch. So now I have this lovely blank canvas that is ready to do something. I wish I were an artist, because you know it's ready to go, but I'm a crafter, so I'm gonna have to figure out something crafty to do here. So I'm gonna get one of my other pallets ready that I'm not gonna cover, and we're gonna see how that turns out. So let's try that. This is going to be cloudy with a chance of meatballs. I obviously didn't cover up the palette, and I've used Christmas ornaments to represent the meatballs that have kind of just attached with some twine, and hopefully they look like meatballs. Up towards the top here, I've kind of secured the umbrella inside the palette and tied it down. I've also tied the supports of the umbrella, so hopefully if there's any wind it won't turn it inside out. And I've also used a coat hanger to kind of extend how I hang the meatballs to give it some more of a dimension. So I kind of just randomly took some stuff and strung it together, and once I add the title and the author, it will be ready to go. It's important to remember to include both the title and the author on the cover of your book. Remember, you're in the role of the illustrator, so you don't have to have it look like the book actually looks. You get to play the part of the illustrator, but we do want you to include the title and the author. I'm still thinking about my blank canvas. Haven't come up with an idea for that yet. But however, I have been inspired by a tree that's fallen down over the winter out back that I may use as a cover. We'll see how that goes. Farkas, do you have any ideas? None at all. Sarge, do you have any thoughts? No? Okay. Hey Flick, you got any thoughts? Oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't think of that. Flick suggested that I show you some of what the folks did last year. Let's do that. So this was just our entrance sign done on a vinyl tablecloth with some laminated letters. This one was done by our director, and obviously she had some painting talent that she put on her canvas. This one, Beth left the palette natural, just painted it and added some laminated letters to create Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. This is some creative use of pool noodles to make the crayon box that talked. This one by Laura Jones, I love this. This would be perfect for our theme of tails and tails with that cool pipe nose, and done on plywood. This is just some creative recycling to create rainbow fish on a vinyl tarp. What a creative use of netting to create the hungry caterpillar that held up really well despite the weather. Then we have Pete the Cat, who was done in wood, and what was really cool is his wheels even lit up when they were spun. Awesome job there. Another Pete the Cat where we discovered that rubber cement works really well on the vinyl and holds up nicely to the weather. This is Junie B, done just in permanent marker on a vinyl tablecloth, as is the How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight. Both of them done in permanent marker and held up quite well. And this is another one with just paint and styrofoam bringing germs to life. How relevant for the time. Harold is another one with just some permanent markers, some leftover material, and a baby onesie attached to a vinyl tablecloth. And No David is again some permanent marker and just some recycled materials, rubber cemented to some vinyl. And Miss Spider is just a couple of old sheets stuffed with garbage bags, and the palette itself is covered with a vinyl tablecloth to create the tea party. And our Polar Express is just a saucer sled, an old stovepipe, and a planting trough glued together. Well, I hope you're ready to join in the fun and make your own storybook cover. Remember, you can pick up a pallet at the library during our regular business hours. Just give us a call and we can help load one in your car, or you can come in and find out where we're stashing them. If you have your own pallet, you're more than welcome to use it. Please remember to only decorate the front portion of the pallet, because we will be joining two pallets together and making them into an A-frame so they stand up like cool storybooks in our Storybook Park. Make sure that you are coming and checking out Storybook Park, because it does open Memorial Day weekend. We have an official ribbon cutting and exciting ceremony, so make sure that you walk through, because it will be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for you to enjoy. And there's some really cool artwork. Everybody who participated last year did a beautiful job. There was such awesome creativity. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do this year. And remember, there's prizes when you enter the contest, so make sure that you're putting on those thinking caps, you're doing that recycling. But please, as I asked before, make sure that you're keeping in mind that it needs to be weatherproof and fairly sturdy. Northeast Ohio is a little rough on us even in the summertime. Join in the fun. Remember, our deadline is May 22nd. Your pallets need to be back to the library by May 22nd so that we can have Storybook Park up and ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please like, comment, and share so that your friends can become our friends, because we always want more friends and we don't want anybody to miss out on the fun. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you real soon.